Hearing God is important to me because there are just some days when I just really need to hear somebody say that they love me, that they care about me, that they're always there. And God is always there for me, and He's always telling me that He loves me, and that's why it's important to me.
Hearing from God is so important to me. It's like night and day with me. Like if I don't hear from God during the day, my day just takes a turn and it's not the same. And when I hear from God, it just makes my day better.
Hearing from God is important to me because in the past, God always speaks to us, but it's whether or not we listen to what He has to say to us. And when I haven't listened to God, I've definitely found myself in situations where I didn't want to be in, or sort of distracted me from the path that God has for me.
A defining moment when God spoke to me was actually at Encounter Conference. We were having a great time and we were getting into some worship, and then God spoke to me and said that I was supposed to be a youth pastor. And since then He's been training me and equipping me and speaking with me and teaching me how to love people and to love teenagers even more.
I was sitting in my kitchen and all of a sudden I had this idea just pop into my head over coming to Reno to go to school and to just live here. And it had been my plan to go to UC Berkeley for as long as I had been going to school at the City College in the Bay. And all of a sudden I just realized that that was God speaking to me.
It was right about after high school when I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I heard about HSM. And it was one night when I went to 418 that God just spoke to me and told me, I want you to do this because I have so much for you.
I primarily hear from God in an idea that'll all of a sudden pop up in my head, and it's not generally something that I would be thinking about or something that I would have the intricacy in my brain to gather information towards. And that's how I know that it's God speaking to me, is because it's not just me.
I have a hard time tuning down, so when I'm asleep, it's like a cinematic movie. He just starts talking to me about my life and helps me.
It's not always an audible thing, but sometimes dreams and just sitting with the Lord, he just speaks to my heart. So that's how I hear from God.
I think the best way to hear from God is to spend more time with Him, to take time out of your day every day and say, hey, this is my time with God, and just sit there and really listen and listen to what He has to say to you. Because when you start to push through, and it may be hard, when you push through, it's even in those moments where you hear Him more clearly. And I think that's where you develop a sense of how to hear Him, and then it just becomes easier from there once you really tune in and listen to Him.